On February 6, 2023, a 17-year-old student and her mother walked into the Hernando County Sheriff's Office in Florida and reported a sexual assault. They did what every victim is encouraged to do. They told someone. They went to the police. The following morning, someone knocked on their front door. Within moments, the teenager was dead, her mother was seriously wounded, and the criminal case she had tried to begin had become something far larger than either of them could have anticipated. Why did the people behind the attack believe they could erase a witness in less than 24 hours? And how did investigators reconstruct the plan, recover the murder weapon, and prove that the killing had been arranged specifically to silence her? Before this documentary ends, we will uncover the evidence that transformed a doorstep shooting into a federal murder-for-hire and witness tampering case proven beyond reasonable doubt in a court of law. Federal court records identify the victim only by the initials IS. That decision preserves a degree of privacy, and this documentary will do the same. She was 17 years old. She attended high school. She played on her school's tennis team. She participated in the Reserve Officers Training Corps program. Those details matter because legal documents can reduce a person to initials, dates, and evidence numbers. But before she became the central witness in a federal prosecution, she was a student moving through an ordinary life. Schoolwork, activities, family, and plans that should have continued far beyond February 2023. According to federal prosecutors, IS told her mother that she had been sexually assaulted. Reporting such an allegation requires enormous courage. For a young person, it also means entering a system of interviews, evidence collection, legal procedures, and possible courtroom testimony. On February 6th, IS and her mother, identified in court records as LP, went to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office and made the report. That act placed the allegation into the hands of law enforcement. It also created a witness whose account could become evidence. IS did what victims are repeatedly encouraged to do. She told someone. She went to the police. And prosecutors later proved that the attempt to silence her began almost immediately after she walked out of that building. The next day was February 7, 2023. According to evidence presented in federal court, Sheldon Robinson arrived at the home shared by IS and her mother. He approached the front door and knocked. When the door opened, gunfire followed. IS attempted to move away and seek help. The fatal bullet struck her in the back. Her mother was hit several times but survived. Federal prosecutors stated that LP collapsed and witnessed her daughter's death. The emotional consequence cannot be separated from the investigation. A mother who had accompanied her daughter to report an alleged crime was now wounded. Her daughter, the person the justice system had been expected to protect, was dead, and the person accused of arranging the killing was not standing at the doorstep. Investigators would have to look beyond the shooter. They needed to establish who planned the attack, why it happened, and whether money had changed hands. This was not prosecuted merely as a fatal shooting. Federal authorities alleged that IS was targeted because she had reported a sexual assault and could become a witness. That transformed the case into a federal investigation involving murder for hire, witness tampering, and obstruction of justice. Prosecutors identified Lenard White as the man accused of sexually assaulting IS. Evidence later presented at trial showed that White arranged for his cousin, Sheldon Robinson, to kill her. Federal prosecutors said White left Florida before the attack in an effort to create an alibi. Robinson was paid to carry out the killing. At trial and sentencing, prosecutors said Robinson carried out the murder for $6,000. The theory was direct: remove the witness, disrupt the original investigation, and create distance between the organizer and the attack. But the plan generated its own trail. Phones moved, people communicated, evidence was handled, others became involved, and investigators began following each layer. The Hernando County Sheriff's Office worked alongside the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives. According to the Justice Department, investigators obtained more than 70 federal and state search warrants. Each warrant represented a separate legal request for access to evidence: phones, records, locations, accounts, or property relevant to the case. Together, prosecutors said the evidence created what they described as a step-by-step blueprint of the killing. This is where the case moved beyond suspicion. Investigators were not relying on one confession or one eyewitness. They were assembling multiple forms of corroboration. Who communicated with whom? Who traveled? Who knew that IS had reported the assault? Who approached the house? Who helped before or after the attack? And where was the weapon? A planned crime can appear disciplined from the outside, but coordination creates connections. Every additional participant creates another phone, another conversation, another movement, and another opportunity for evidence to survive. 6 months after the murder, investigators executed another search at Robinson's home. Behind the property was a wooded area. Buried there, authorities recovered the firearm used to kill IS. The weapon had not remained missing. It had been concealed close enough to connect the investigation directly back to the person prosecutors said carried out the attack. A hidden weapon can indicate consciousness of guilt. Its location can connect a suspect to disposal or concealment. Its forensic characteristics can be compared with evidence recovered at the scene, and its discovery can confirm parts of a timeline previously known only through digital or witness evidence. The weapon had been buried, but burying evidence does not erase the decisions that led investigators to it. The case did not involve only White and Robinson. A third defendant, Keshawn Woods, was charged for his role in the murder plot. Woods later pleaded guilty. In January 2026, he was sentenced to 17 years in federal prison. Co-defendant cases often reveal how complex criminal plans are reconstructed. One participant may describe preparation. Another may be connected through communications. A third may help transport, arrange, conceal, or recruit. According to prosecutors, the effort to silence IS did not end with her murder. White and Robinson repeatedly attempted to interfere with the investigation. Federal authorities said they disposed of evidence, tampered with witnesses, obstructed justice, and made false statements. Even more disturbing, prosecutors said the two discussed having another witness killed. The attack was not simply an act committed in anger after an accusation. The jury accepted evidence of organized action intended to stop testimony and interfere with justice. And when investigators continued closing in, prosecutors said the defendants considered repeating the same strategy against another witness. That detail shows why witness protection and information security matter deeply. A justice system depends on people being able to report crimes without becoming targets themselves. When a witness is threatened or killed, the damage extends beyond one prosecution. It sends a message to every other person deciding whether it is safe to speak. In October 2025, White and Robinson went on trial in federal court. The proceeding lasted a little more than 2 weeks. The prosecution presented the digital, physical, and witness evidence gathered during the investigation. Jurors heard the allegation reported by IS. They heard how the attack was organized. They considered the financial arrangement. They saw evidence surrounding the weapon and the efforts to obstruct the investigation. On October 29, 2025, the jury found both men guilty on all charges. The verdicts included conspiracy to commit murder for hire, premeditated first-degree murder, firearm offenses causing death, witness tampering, and obstruction of justice. These were no longer allegations, they were jury findings. On March 16, 2026, the Justice Department announced the sentences. Lenard White and Sheldon Robinson each received 2 consecutive terms of life imprisonment plus 100 years. The punishment reflected not only the killing, but the organized attempt to prevent testimony and interfere with the legal process. No sentence could return IS to her family. No conviction could erase what her mother witnessed, but the verdict established the central truth prosecutors had pursued. IS was killed because she had taken the first steps toward holding someone accountable. LP survived the shooting. She was present when her daughter reported the assault. She was present when the attackers came to the home. She was wounded, and she survived to see the case move through investigation, indictment, trial, and sentencing. Survival is often described as a fortunate outcome, but survival can carry grief, trauma, and the burden of continuing through a legal process that repeatedly returns a family to the worst moment of its life. This case should not become entertainment built around the mechanics of a killing. Its importance lies in what it reveals about vulnerability, reporting, and protection. A 17-year-old made an allegation. Within 1 day, she was attacked. The people responsible tried to prevent her from becoming a courtroom witness, but the attempt to erase her evidence produced a second investigation, one supported by search warrants, communications, physical evidence, and eventually guilty verdicts. Witness intimidation can operate through fear, pressure, threats, bribery, or violence. It attacks the legal system at its weakest point, the human beings required to speak. A document cannot feel terror, a forensic sample cannot be threatened, but a witness can. And when witnesses believe that reporting a crime may place them or their families in danger, silence becomes easier for offenders to enforce. The case also raises difficult questions. How quickly can authorities identify that a newly reporting witness may be in danger? What information should remain confidential during the earliest stages of an investigation? What protection can realistically be provided before formal charges are filed? There is no public evidence that investigators anticipated an attack within 1 day of the report, but the speed of the murder demonstrates how narrow that window can be. Here is what can be confirmed. IS was a 17-year-old high school student involved in tennis and the Reserve Officers Training Corps. On February 6, 2023, she and her mother reported a sexual assault. The next day, she was killed. Federal prosecutors proved that Lenard White arranged the killing to stop her from becoming a witness. Investigators executed more than 70 search warrants, recovered the buried murder weapon, and secured guilty verdicts on every charge. What remains impossible to measure is everything IS lost. The future she expected, the opportunities that should have followed high school, and the sense of safety that every young person deserves when deciding whether to report a crime. The report she made became the beginning of an investigation that ultimately proved exactly why she had been targeted. If you found this investigation valuable, subscribe to Mysterious Crime, like this video, share it with someone who appreciates deeply researched documentaries, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next investigation. Every mystery has a story.